Else,
Yeah.
Else, did you ever watch Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Absolutely.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, it's an amazing show.
Great show.
This actually looks like it takes place in an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? I'm gonna throw you over this bridge right here, bro. What's cracking, guys? MOMMA'S here, back with another video. Consider this a companion video to a previous video all about fat loss, advanced fat loss, trying to lose weight as quickly as possible. We're gonna talk in particular today about training and cardio. The previous video was all about nutrition. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll link it in the description for you to check out. You should watch that video just so you have a basic understanding of how you should eat. But the question that comes up when it comes to fat loss is, how should one train? And a lot of people think you should just do the exact same thing as you were doing before. So if you try to lose weight, if you try to build muscle, it's basically the same program and you just adjust your calories. And this isn't necessarily true. You see, it kind of is a spectrum. And what I mean when I say that, the less calories your body consumes, the more intelligent you need to be with your training, the more selective. There are certain principles that you need to follow. If you are doing a slow cut, and we're not talking about that in this video, we're talking about an aggressive cut, an advanced fat loss plan that's trying to make you lose anywhere between 1 to 2 pounds of fat per week. You can't do the same amount of volume as you're doing before. Why? Well, it's simple. You don't have as much energy. Your body's actually fairly fatigued from being in that caloric deficit. And it's probably, once again, pretty aggressive. You're probably eating 20% below maintenance to start. And then as the weeks go on, you just get further and further into that caloric deficit. So you don't have as much energy. Ergo, you shouldn't be training as hard, both from an intensity standpoint and total volume. I would shift total volume. That's the first step. The first thing you need to realize, I would shift total volume down by at least 10% from what you're used to. This is because, once again, if your body can't recover from what you're throwing at it, so if you just keep up with the same amount of volume or think, you know, oh bro, guess what? Like, I'm gonna just train even harder, burn more calories. This is gonna have a negative effect on your strength, so your performance in the gym, and potentially the muscle mass that you have. If you're just constantly breaking down your muscles as you train, and then you're not replenishing it, your muscles, the energy your body needs via nutrients, then actually you could kind of go catabolic. There's an extreme circumstance I'm talking about when you eat not a lot at all and you train extremely hard, where your composition takes a hit, your body composition, because you're not allowing your body to recover, so you'll lose some of that muscle mass. You need to be smart. Sometimes doing more isn't the answer. So in fact, what you should do if you want to lose a lot of weight quickly, a lot of fat quickly, I would shift down your volume by 10%. And if we talk about a training split, we could talk about either a 4 time per week split, a 5 time per week, or even 6 times per week. I don't think 6 times per week for fat loss is necessary. I would say between 4 to 5 times per week is more than enough. You could do a push-pull leg split. You could do an upper body, lower body split. So you could have 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days. But you should roughly, and I'm gonna put some text up on the screen here. It's about a...
Fuck off!
They don't realize that we're out here trying to live our truth, you know, else? Like, they have no respect.
We're entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs, and you know what we're doing else? We're hustling.
Yeah.
They just don't understand, you know, normies. They just don't, they don't, plebs, thank you, Alex. So I'll put up on the screen some recommendations when it comes to volume, total sets that you should be doing. But again, you should be training probably 4 to 5 times per week. Whatever you're used to doing, you need to reduce that volume by about 10%. So this means, hey, let's take an example. If you do a 5x5 on your main movement, you're gonna do a 4x5. And I know some people out there is like, man, that's a 20% reduction. I get it, but we're talking about the total workload you're doing. So if you do 20 total sets in a training session before, 10% reduction in that, you do 18, so 2 less sets. And you might think to yourself, what's the difference? This makes a huge difference over a long period of time. The second thing I want to talk about, so we talked about volume, let's talk about intensity. You shouldn't be training with a high intensity when you're losing a lot of weight rapidly. Why? Well, again, you don't have the energy. You're gonna walk into those workouts, you're not gonna be able to focus as much as before. You're gonna find yourself getting hungry, the weights are gonna feel too heavy, especially as you're dropping weight. I would lower the percentages that you lift at, especially because you will be losing weight and thus your leverages are gonna change, your absolute strength will go down. So your 80% when you weigh 180 pounds isn't going to be that exact same 80% when you weigh 160 pounds. So what I would recommend instead, I would say over a period of 12 weeks, you should be looking at reducing your percentages by about 5%. So if you're used to doing that 5x5 and you work all the way up to 80% and do a set of 5x5 or do a workout of 5x5, I would instead do something along the lines of 75% you work up to maximum. So take whatever your maxes are and instead calculate based off of 95%. So if you're used to calculating based off of 100%, when you use your percentages, just instead use 95%. And that's a quick, easy way for a lot of people out there to adjust their intensity. We already talked about their volume, so those are 2 major differences. And then the last thing I want to emphasize when we talk about training would of course be exercise selection. I'm going to assume that most people watching this video already have at least a year of training under their belt, therefore they won't respond to any newbie gains. Therefore, you shouldn't be selecting exercises that you really want to improve upon or muscle groups that you want to grow. So you shouldn't do endless sets of biceps, endless sets of triceps. You should be focusing on those big compound movements. So yeah, squat, bench, deadlift, the variations are very important. Some accessory work is also necessary in order to maintain those smaller muscle groups, but don't try and build muscle when you're in a deficit. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes I see. Point number 4, lastly, let's talk about cardio. Cardio isn't necessary. It is true. Come on, big dog. Apparently people have to get home outs, you know, it's such a weird concept.
Go home another time.
Lastly, point number 4, let's talk about cardio. No, cardio isn't necessary. However, those that have, let's say, a more favorable genetics when it comes to trying to lose weight or just overall their body composition, they really don't need to do cardio. If you're someone that's struggling to lose weight, you find you have a hard time losing fat, I do think trying to keep the calories higher and then instead increasing your caloric expenditure via doing some cardiovascular activity can be very beneficial. And you're going to organize this much like you did your calories when we talked about nutrition. So for cardio, instead, what you're going to do is gradually increase the total amount of cardio you do every single week. So you'll start off on week 1. This is, again, 12 weeks we're aiming for here. You'll start off week 1 doing maybe 10 to 15 minutes of low intensity steady state. So that just means a low incline treadmill walk. And then every single week you'll add a little bit more. So maybe you'll add a second session by the 12th week, and I'm gonna put this all up on the screen here. By the 12th week, you'll probably be doing something like 3 to 4 times per week, 20 to 30 minutes of low intensity steady state cardio. And then maybe if you do have the energy, 1 to 2 times per week, high intensity interval training. I think cardio can be a very important companion for those that really want to lose weight and struggle to lose weight, especially if you want to be eating a lot of calories so you have enough fuel for the workouts. Well, that's actually pretty quiet. I can go with that one. Guys, I think when it comes to training, some people do try and simplify it too much. Oh man, like just do the exact same program you were doing before, just reduce your calories. It doesn't quite work that way. If we want to optimize our body.
Can you not? Sir?
Sir, excuse me? Guys, that is the video. I wanted to outline some of the major differences between trying to gain weight, the training routine you should be doing, and trying to lose weight. Some people, I feel, simplify it too much. Bro, just do the same thing and eat less calories. It doesn't work that way, especially if you want to maintain all your hard-earned muscle. So be intelligent about it. Reduce your volume a little bit, reduce the intensity. Also consider doing some cardiovascular exercise, and don't just change up your exercise selection just because you're trying to lose weight. Stick to the fundamentals. I gotta get out of here. Thank you so much for watching this video. Look, if you like this video, if this reminds you, and maybe comment below if you remember, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like the damn video. I'll also give away one copy out because we're very generous here. The first person that can identify where we're filming, what ravine in Toronto this is, will get a free copy of the advanced fat loss program we just released.
Amazing.
Amazing, amazing. Seriously, so if anyone can figure it out, we'll give away a copy for those interested in the advanced fat loss program. That is linked in the description. We got to get out of here. I'll see all you guys, my rascals, in that next video. Peace.
One of my favorite songs.
Getting ink slinged.
Yeah, all that. And so then Omar's there in a really cute outfit feeding me pizza.
Wow, that sounds definitely like a fantasy.
Sounds like my dream last night.
You said, Bryce, you said to me that you were delivering pizzas for Pizza Hut and you said it was awesome. Tell me why. That's such a Canadian. It was like, yeah, I used to deliver the paper and it was a good time. I'm
Yeah,
like,
we'll turn this into an interview. How was that awesome?
I don't know. I guess it was awesome in its own way. I just drove around all night. You know,
I can see why you became a personal trainer because you're like, if you think that's awesome, I'm sure you thought like
hanging out at the gym's way cooler than driving my car all night. Let's do this.
Getting shitty tips. People yelling at me because their pie's cold.
Yeah, that's awesome.
See, the other thing was I was in Saskatchewan. This was when I was living in Regina.
Yeah.
And,
What?
You said that before. Every time, bro.
All right, dude.
It's not that weird.
It's pretty weird.
Really, like every band ever that comes to Regina is like, "What's up? You know your city's name rhymes with fun, right?" And it's like, "Oh, dude, we never heard that before. Thank you."
We have a place in Sacramento called Old Sacramento. And so we call it every comedian, dude.
Okay.
Like, guess where I went?
Someone after that joke should just say, "Shut the fuck up and get off the
Heard it,
stage."
loser. Old Sac's right down the street
Old
from
news.
Regina.
So you said Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
And slanging pizzas.
Oh, I said Regina. And then
Regina.
Yeah, let's say Saskatchewan. Can we say Saskatchewan? So
Yeah.
we can,
Okay. So I was living in Saskatchewan.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of snow there in the winters. So the best thing ever was these snowstorms would come, and I'd load up the back of the car with like 10 pizzas, and you can only drive 30 kilometers an hour because there's snow drifts 3-4 feet high. And then you just kind of putz around and you eventually get to places and the pizza's an hour and a half late. And people are like, "Oh, God, thank you so much for coming." Like, your pizza's almost frozen. Yeah. And they're like, "I don't even care. Thank you so much. I didn't have to go out. Here's $20 tip." And it was just great. You kind of like putz around in the snow. And
just chilling. What was the music of choice? Because obviously you're blurring the radio, I can assume.
No, I was listening to my compact discs at the time.
Oh, no.
How believe it or not.
Bryce, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 30.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But compact disc. How old were you when you're delivering pizza? Because I'm trying to think of
So here's another interesting tidbit is until like 2 months ago, I've never owned a vehicle that was created in this century.
Yeah,
Really?
So, well, I was just going to say, me neither, really.
Yeah.
Up until this current car, did I not have like an auxiliary cord? That's not that new.
Yeah,
To have it in a car.
I drove a 1997 Toyota Paseo
Hell yeah.
for a number of years. And I just had my little compact disc player in there. I listened to, I don't know, Bleeding Through, Cradle of Filth. A lot of like metal and hardcore stuff at the time.
I'm going to name the only metal
as
band
well
I
as
know.
Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say
Favorite mine.
Whitechapel.
Yeah, I was
you
going to say
like Queens of the
Whitechapel.
Stone
I
Age?
like Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
Dave.
It's all right.
I
Yeah,
like
Dave Grohl.
I like Dave.
I think it's all right.
Whitechapel's the only...
Queens of the Stone Age?
I like them.
Oh, yeah. I guess Dave Grohl drummed for them for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you did. Yeah, a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And then,
I was like, man, you're thinking Foo Fighters.
Yeah, them too.
Yeah.
Or Nirvana.
My thing, I'm hip. I got it. I'm having this mental image of you, Bryce, like putzing around in your car like 20 miles an hour, super slow, listening to like like a really fast song.
Yeah,
but just
that
like
was
for like
life.
an hour and a half.
Yeah,
It's like
going nowhere.
whistling like life can't get any better. Yeah, having a good time.
Yeah.